West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another live review show of the Pakistan versus West Indies Test Match series. This is probably the shortest notice we've ever given our audience. Literally, people, no less than 20 minutes ago, Santokie and I messaged each other and said, should we just go live in 20 minutes? Hardly anyone knows. Only if you got a subscriber notification will you even know that we've gone live on this one. But tell a friend, share it in your WhatsApp, Facebook groups, Snapchats, OnlyFans, everywhere. Share it and let people know CCP is currently live. Santokie, it's been a long day of down badness. Yeah. How are you coping after day one of the second test, Santokie?
Yeah, firstly, Mash, no rules when it comes to CCP. I know a couple man are scrambling, hearing that we've got a live show with 2 minutes notice, but we're out here, and as you said, Mash, it's been a day of almighty Hall of Fame down badness. But the one thing with West Indies is you give us chaos, we will thrive on it. West Indies have somehow contrived to go from 38-7 in the first innings to taking a lead of 9 runs by the end of the day. And Mash, I optimistically said at the beginning of the year, West Indies could get 1 win this year at the 10 tests we play. Could we pull that off tomorrow, Mash? We've got a 9-run lead. Anything can happen. Pakistan has shown they can be just as down bad as us. They can match us bar for bar in terms of being down bad. And there's no rules, Mash, for this test. Anything could happen. All we know for sure, barring fog or some sort of weather issue, the test match is going to end tomorrow after 2 days.
Yeah, this test match has felt like a Lord of the Mic sound clash. Oh! Listen, bar for real. And the joke is, I have to be completely consistent. And it's, some will say it's a rare moment of doing so. I don't know, but I have to be consistent, Santokie, and say at 38 for 7, my head had gone. And I was tweeting things like, this is the worst West Indies team I've ever seen. And the thing is, at 38 for 7, that was true. And I don't know, Santokie, where we draw the line on two things being correct at the same time, which is that 38 for 7. If King Motie, Kemar Roach and Jamel Warrican hadn't rescued us, I would have put that performance, irrespective of the pitch, I would have put that in my top 5 down bad West Indian performances, because there's no excuse for it. You cannot turn around to me and go, oh, but the pitch, it's a ranked turner. There is no excuse for 38 for 7 in international cricket. Now, as it was, the tail, 9, I think we set a record again, Santokie, 2 consecutive test matches. No other team has ever done it in test cricket, where 9, 10 and 11 have basically scored all the runs in essence for a side. And it's a weird feeling, Santokie, because obviously Motie and Warrican, and it basically was an all-round performance, in fact, because Roach took 2 wickets, scored 25. Motie took 3 wickets, scored 50, whatever it was, 58, I think, 56. And Warrican scored 36 not out and took 4 wickets. So our 9, 10 and 11 are prime Gary Sobers right now. So we have to respect it. We have to start by saying well done to the tail.
Yeah, well done to the tail. King Motie, we had criticism about him in the first test and sort of generally how he is in test cricket. He came back with the ball, and as you said, that half century with the bat. Jamel Warrican as well continue launching sixes. Kemar Roach even got in on it. The one thing I will say is, I think at this point it's the fact that the tail end have no pressure on them. They're coming out and just swinging and batting, like they're playing carefree. I think with our top order, because like you said in our last show, Mash, the top order know essentially with Sammy coming in, they're batting for their test futures here. I think the pressure's got to the top order. If you look at that first ball of the test match today, first test, Craig Brathwaite, who we know likes to, stick around, get dug in, he came rushing out to get a single. The pressure was there. They were trying to score. Craig Brathwaite was trying to score quick. He went for a reverse sweep, which he normally doesn't do. Mikhail Louis looked stranded. Amir Jangoo, the saviour of West Indies cricket this year, came out, went for a duck. It was just chaos and pandemonium. And as you said, the ultimate down bad moment, a truly down bad moment was that No Man Ali hat trick. What wickets was it? Was it Afanase?
It was Graves. In fact, it
Graves,
might have been
Imlat,
Afanase.
Sinclair.
No, Graves, Graves, Imlat, Sinclair, yeah.
And
And the thing is, just talking on No Man, because we should respect No Man, 57-year-old No Man bowling us down, right? But we should respect him because a hat trick is a hat trick is a hat trick. But I dare everybody in the live right now to go back and watch that hat trick, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe that, like the hat trick spoke to the almost scrambled mindset in the West Indian team, right? Graves had only faced, I don't know, 3-4 balls, hard hands, stabs at one, nicks it off. Imlat comes out, tries to sweep first ball, come in front. Sinclair comes out, hard hands, nicks at one. And don't get me wrong, Noman is a prime bowler, and we won't be the last team that gets laying down by him, but it speaks to your point of, I don't think the players, and this probably, maybe this is like what I want to say here, this is a common kind of fragility of the West Indies team.
Yeah.
They don't deal with pressure. They just can't. This could be on a road, and I'd expect to see something similar happen where if we're under pressure, we just don't deal with it well.
Yeah, we've seen that so many times over the last few years, Mash, just as if it's a domino effect. Once one thing happens, a wicket falls, we just see everyone lose their mind. And we saw that ultimate chaos. Nobody took a step back and thought, you know what, let's just see what's happening here, evaluate what's going on the pitch. Sinclair, Imlat, Graves, it was just all pandemonium. And at least No Man Ali had a feel-good moment. You know, he's someone who would have grown up as a young man in Pakistan, watching Worrell, Weeks, Walcott. So he knows exactly how big West Indies are. As you said, age 57 years old. He got his feel-good moment. So but on a serious note, it was a good moment for No Man Ali to first spinner in Pakistani history to get a hat trick, and you could see what it meant to the players. As you said, Mash, with West Indies, we give players the best day of their lives, and that certainly happened with No Man Ali. But in that context, Mash, considering how quickly the wickets went, because we were what? We were like 35 for 4 or something, and then 38 for 7. Kind of, the wickets were just tumbling. But Gudakesh Motie came out, you know, and with Warwican put together a partnership. You know what though? Warwican was launching. Warwican was swinging. Motie actually played a composed innings though. He played as if he was he would take strike well. He took his chances when it could be, and that just leads, Mash, to what you said at the top of the show. How embarrassing is it for us that Roach, Warwican, and Motie put together the runs and saved the innings when our top order was just calamitous? Like, it was terrible. It was awful from our top order. But one off I can accept, you know, this thing's happening in Test cricket. For it to happen twice in a row, the only 2 times in history, the 9, 10, and 11 for a Test side have made the highest score in an innings. For it to happen consecutively points to a massive issue. Either, as you say, we've got undercover Gary Sobers batting at 9, 10, and 11 with Warwican, Motie, and Roach, or it just points to how down bad our top order is. And I think it is the former. Our top order are really, really down bad. And, you know, if I'm Josh De Silva, I'm thankful for everything that I'm not playing in this down bad Test series in Pakistan, because if you're not playing in this Test, your stock is rising higher. Everyone like an Amir Jangoo, Tevin Imlak, they're coming in. We're seeing how painfully bad it is, how tough players are finding it. You know, the only saving grace is, you know, we managed to bowl out Pakistan for what, 150, 154, which again, Pakistan's innings mirrored West Indies innings. I mean, there was this. Listen, no rules on CCP, you know, we don't edit out here.
Literally no rules.
So, Mash, let's go.
No, just look at that comment there, though, because I think we should address it. And I think when the Test match is over tomorrow, we can probably do an episode on it after the Test series. But it's interesting to me that I was waiting for the first comment that tried to blame this all on Craig. So David Ned says it's Craig's fault. It's his negative mindset spilling off onto the batters in the top order. I just don't understand that argument. So if I buy that argument, and I want to see what you say on it, Santokie, if we buy that argument, are we trying to say that the players aren't their own person, and that they can't bat unless Craig shows them the way how to bat? Everyone's got to take responsibility for what they are or aren't doing, and I think it's lazy to try and blame it on Craig and and what mindset he is or isn't set in. Like I don't see how this links to Craig.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, obviously, there's a degree of Craig Brathwaite having the experience, the most experienced batter, but it shouldn't be a case of players are relying on him to put together innings. Essentially, as you said, they're individual players. They've proven why they should be in the West Indies side by what they've done these are the best players in the region, so they should have enough in them to be able to lead the way. If Craig isn't doing it, someone else should be able to step up, and we saw that to a degree in the first test with Alec Athanaze. So it's not it's an excuse to kind of say, oh, Craig Brathwaite, his form and his mentality at the moment is spilling onto the team. I think the team is strong enough, should be strong enough in theory as an international test side to be able to, as you said, to be their own men, as you said, and be individuals and someone stand up. It's just we haven't been able to see that in the top order. We saw it from Gudakesh Motie later on in the tail end. So it's a truly down bad performance. However, like I said, Mash, we have to be thankful that Pakistan are the one side who can match West Indies when it comes to chaos and being down bad. And again, it was Motie and Jamal Warrican. But firstly, Mash, I have to shout out, let's see, Hasnan Ali. As a Pakistan fan, having you guys 54 and still training is hilarious. This is truly the down bad derby. Yeah, we named it the down bad derby. It's lived up to the hype, Mash. It's been a test.
It's definitely 100% though. Yeah. And the thing is, Santokie, I actually think, okay, social media is very much an echo chamber, but I actually reckon whenever I hear people saying this is down bad, I'm like, I think CCP have like entered like the zeitgeist of cricket lexicon, because where else did everyone's terminology come from? This, and it literally, everything we said about why this is the down bad title, both matches have been truly down bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, I know that CCP has started it because the term down bad, usually you would apply it for if someone's in love with a woman who don't love him back. You say, oh, that guy's down bad. You never really apply it to cricket. We were the first guys that just applied it to cricket. Down bad, and it's become part of the lexicon, Mash, especially in West Indies, down bad. So it's lived up to the down bad derby. But firstly, Mash, if we're talking about the Pakistani innings, we have to shout out Kimar Roach. Obviously, he got the 2 early wickets, bowled with a lot of zest, and also later on in the innings, that stunner of a catch, it looked like it took out his hamstring for a while, but for Kimar Roach to do that, performing with the ball, performing in the field, sort of, especially as he probably wasn't expecting to play this test. I'd imagine it was going to be Seals until Seals got an injury. So for Kimar Roach to come in Pakistan, perform how he did with the new ball, kind of galvanized the team, because it was looking at, in the first few overs, it was looking like Pakistan were just going to pile on a few runs there. So for Kimar Roach, lead by example, I guess you could say in terms of bowling, Kimar Roach is what you'd kind of hope Brathwaite could do, lead by example and show that leadership, because Kimar Roach really showed that today. And essentially he started what would become West Indies' quest to essentially take that lead and have a shout to win the match tomorrow. Because as we said, Mash, to be 38 for 7 and somehow still taking the lead and having a shout to win the match is a remarkable turnaround. I think it just points, as you put on our Twitter handle, it just points to how down bad the performances are with the bat. I don't think there's any, no matter how much turn the pitch has, there shouldn't really be a reason why you're seeing 20 wickets fall in a day. That's absolute chaos. And Ian King here is just saying it was an atrocious pitch coupled with the limited experience, captain excluded, building innings, even Baba and Rizwan. And this is the thing. It's not as if, yeah, go on, Mash.
Yeah, I want to just come in on that though. The reason I put that comment up is, okay, the pitch is atrocious. It's not 20 wickets atrocious. I think people are mixing two things up here. And maybe, again, this is an example of two things can be right at the same time. The pitch can be atrocious, but the two teams playing can also be atrocious. Yeah. And I just don't buy this pitch until the back end of the day, when I started to see a few balls keep low. I think the last 2 Pakistan wickets were basically rolling along the ground. But it wasn't atrocious all day. Don't get me wrong. There's a ball with your name on it in these type of test matches, but it wasn't turning as prodigiously as it was in the first test. There was runs to be made on this pitch. I think people need to actually be careful and not try and blame this all on the pitch, and understand that we're dealing with 2 teams whose batting lineup is basically awful, and therefore it's exaggerating the level of how atrocious the pitch actually is. I'd like to see what would happen if there were 2 other teams on here, and if 20 wickets would still fall in the same, or 2 better teams, if 20 wickets would still fall on the same day.
I agree. I think it's the teams have essentially exacerbated the conditions. I don't think the conditions should be that bad enough to, or turn that much to take 20 wickets in a day. But again, Mash, this is the problem. Neither side has had really any time to acclimatise to the conditions. Pakistan were in South Africa. I think there was a 10-day gap between the second test in South Africa where conditions favoured pace. Suddenly they've got to fly to Pakistan and adapt to here. West Indies, again, we played a 3-day warm-up match. Really, that's to come into these conditions. You can't just play a 3-day warm-up match and say, all right, we're ready for the conditions. So it hasn't helped that neither side have been able to acclimatise. I can't speak about Pakistan, but I know from a West Indian perspective, it's a bad recipe if you haven't been able to acclimatise and you've got inexperienced batters anyway. That combination is never going to work. And what we're seeing is West Indies struggling to score above 150 in any of their innings here so far in Pakistan. So I think it's that lack of being able to acclimatise, get used to conditions, and the lack of experience has basically highlighted how much turn the pitch has had. But as you said, Mash, if you put two more, let's say if you put, I don't know, Australia and India, it'd be interesting to see if 20 wickets fell on this pitch just because of the differences in quality. And that, it sort of reflects at the end of the day why these two sides are the bottom of the World Test Championship.
Yeah. That's the key point. Everyone's forgetting, or maybe they're not, that these two are at the bottom of the World Test Championship, and they're at the bottom for a reason. And that's why the game is ultimately so chaotic, because it's two bad sides going, like as you said at the start, going bar for bar. Before we get into Pakistan's response, I just want to talk on Amir Jangoo, Santokie. Because Jangoo debuted today, and I said in the preview video before the test match where I said, "Oh, what time will they pick? Or what team will they pick?" I said I expect Jangoo to play, and I think you expected Jangoo to play as well, but I didn't expect Jangoo to come in at number 3. I'm not saying that's why he got a duck. I'm sure he may well have got a duck anyway, but I was just like, if you've got somebody on test match debut and you already know the pitches are madness, right? And you're sending them into the fire. No test matches ever before. Why would you debut them at 3? Like and I was just looking at the team going, well, surely they're going to move Kavem Hodge or Alec Athanase or someone who's at least got double-figure test matches and some level of experience. I think that was a setup thing on Amir Jangoo. Now, obviously, it could have come off, but I just don't believe that you should be debuting a guy who's not necessarily a red ball number 3, certainly not the test level, at number 3.
Yeah, I thought Jangoo would come in at 5. It didn't make any sense. We knew he was going to come in for Carty, but I didn't think he'd be directly coming in at number 3. I thought, they move Hodge and Athanase up, especially because Athanase showed the application in the last innings. You'd feel he could adjust to moving up in the order. So it did feel, coming in with Mikhail Louis losing his wicket early, Jangoo coming in, it did feel like he was almost set up to fail. And also, Mash, I guess from the coaching staff, it just shows sort of a lack of adaptability. It was like, all right, Jangoo was who we listed as 3. We're going to send him out. Whereas realistically, you should have thought, all right, we've lost an early wicket. Let's send someone with a bit more experience, Hodge and Athanase, to soak up the pressure. So sending Jangoo out there, he was always going to struggle. I don't think we can judge Jangoo based on this one innings. We know he's a quality batter. We've seen what he's done in ODI cricket. I think 90% of West Indian batters coming in at 3 on this pitch would struggle in the same way Jangoo did. So it's a shame, he's coming for his debut on such a tough pitch. And to a degree, Imlak as well, he struggled to score runs on this tour. But when all batters are, there's not much you can really do. I will give credit to Imlak though. Again, showed behind the stumps was really good. That run out for the last Pakistan wicket was good. So Tevin Imlak at least has been able to have another avenue to demonstrate his quality in terms of behind the stumps, especially with how much turn it's had. It's really highlighted how he's been able to track the ball and kind of be solid behind the stumps. So Imlak has something there. For Jangoo, you just got to hope, that this doesn't reflect on it, his future credentials for West Indies selection coming in. But then I guess for most of the batters in this side, again, this series isn't going to look good for them in terms of the Sami regime and the statistics. But before we look at going into all of that, I'm sure we'll do that in the series with you, Mash. Let's talk about the Pakistan innings. So Kemar Roach made some early inroads, and then it was Motie who led the line. We'd expected Warrican to do it. Motie had kind of been behind the scenes in the first test. He kind of took the line. Does that, for you, Mash, did you notice anything differently with Motie? And more importantly, do you think this just sort of shows his sort of character, that he's been able to bounce back with the ball and the bat, considering how much criticism he had in the first test?
So Motie did an interview at the end of day one where he spoke about the fact that after, I think he basically acknowledged I was down bad in the first test, and he spoke about going away with the analyst, which obviously would be Avanesh, the bowling coach. I think Nikita Miller's out there as a spin bowling coach, and he said they went away and looked at where he went wrong in the first test. Now, what was noticeable on day one of this match is that his pace was definitely bowling slower, or definitely trying to bowl significantly slower. I actually thought that the first 2 wickets he took, so what he got Babar, I mean, that was a poor shot by Babar. Babar's gone back to a full one. Babar's down bad. But anyways, he got Babar, and then the second one, can't remember who the batter was, but it was a great catch at short leg. Was it Kevin Sinclair, I think, at short leg or something? But Sinclair, in that opening spell by Motie, I actually didn't think he bowled that great, but sometimes you don't have to bowl that great to get 2 wickets, right? But the point is it gave him confidence. So when he then came back for his later spells, hold on, Bart says Babar got out to Roach. No way, wasn't it Motie who got Babar?
I thought it was Motie. Clean ball.
It was definitely Motie who got Babar. Anyways, when he then came back in his later spells, he was far more consistent and was able to hit a better length, because in that first spell I think his length was a bit all over the shot. But it just goes to show, Santokie, a lot of it's about confidence. He's never been a bad bowler. Maybe his confidence has been down in this in this format of cricket, and I say that to contrast it with Warrican. When Warrican's got the ball, you can tell in his body language he knows exactly where he's bowling the ball. He knows exactly what his game plan is. So it's not a case of whether Motie's good, bad, or indifferent or whatever. I just think one bowler is significantly more confident than the other, but Motie got more confident as the day went on, and they bowled well. Ultimately, they bowled well in tandem. The question mark for me, and we can talk about this, I don't think we should talk about it now, but we should certainly talk about it when the test series is over, is Kevin Sinclair pick as the off spinner. When Sinclair was picked to go to Australia, that was always because of what he offered with the bat, and obviously went to England as well, and the fact, okay, can do some stuff. There will be a question mark in my mind, irrespective of what happens in on the final day tomorrow, as to where the question's going, Santokie. Should Jimbo have been here?
Yeah. No,
we can discuss it, but there's just a question when Kevin's bowling, and it's no, like, I'm not trying to say Kevin's a bad bowler. That's not my point, but you can tell he's not a frontline bowler in the way that Motie and Warrican are. If you catch my drift.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the question we've had. It's going to be. It seems like the eternal question for West Indies. What are we doing with Jimbo? But that's a question for another day when we probably do the series review and look at selection. So Mash, to wrap up the show, we said it was going to be a quick live. Wrap up the show. Predictions for tomorrow. How do you think it's going to go? West Indies have a 9-1 lead. They'll be coming out tomorrow to bat. Anything could happen. My prediction is, if West Indies score more than 80 runs in the second innings, they'll win the match.
This is a golden opportunity for them. If they were to win in Pakistan a year after they went to Australia when nobody expected them to win, this is on par with Australia, and that nobody would have expected us to win in Pakistan. I mean, I famously have said I didn't expect them. I've expected it to be 2-0. So it's a golden opportunity to them to shove it down the throat of people like me and say, this is why you should always have faith. Yeah, no, but it's true though. It's true. If you're in that changing room, Andre Coley needs to play this in the changing room. If you're in that changing room, you've got to be sick and tired of people like myself saying stuff like, boy, well, we're just down bad. You're supposed to be thinking, nah, put respect on my name. Let me shove this down CCP throat. So I would love nothing better than tomorrow them really standing up and giving it to Pakistan and winning the test match. However, I think there is I'm a West Indies fan, Santokie. You're a West Indies fan. We've seen more bad than we've seen good, right? It would not surprise me tomorrow if we were all out for 57.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
It's basically what I'm saying. So I'm gonna get up at 4:30 with praying and hoping we can pull it off, but I'm mentally preparing myself for 57 all out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this goes back to the fundamental point. There's never a dull day in West Indies cricket. Anything could happen tomorrow. It could go 54 all out, or we could see West Indies do a miracle at Motie and somehow pull off the win. I'm sure whatever happens tomorrow when we do the series review for the test, I'm sure we'll have a lot to say. So Mash, we await. I know you've got to set your alarm for 4:30 a.m. It's a big day tomorrow. We rally around the West Indies. Yeah, only 37 likes. Come on, 250 people should be liking this. You know, we jumped out last minute to do this for the fans. You know, CCP by the fans. For the fans. So we'll end it there. We'll be back tomorrow looking at the test, whatever happens. As always, good luck to the West Indies side. No matter what people say, we're always negative, cuss it out. At the end of the day, we're West Indian fans. We're rallying behind the team, and we'll be there supporting tomorrow. So we look forward to what happens. See if we can get the miracle in Motie. That's been us. Like, follow, share, subscribe. Follow us on all the social media platforms at the top of the banner, and we'll see you very soon.
See you soon, people.
West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.